The ocean is vast and incredible, but it can also be downright nightmare-inducing. Whether you're drawn to its beauty or avoid it altogether, you can't deny that there are some truly bizarre and fascinating moments that have happened both today and throughout history on the open water. After all, it gave rise to all life on Earth, so a bit of respect for its role in the natural order is in order. From alien-like creatures never seen before by experts or amateurs to the recurring misfortunes of humans at sea, here are 15 shocking moments caught in the middle of the ocean. Number 15. Jelly boarding. Jellyfish may appear to be thoughtless blobs of jelly floating in the ocean, but you can't deny the danger they pose to humans. Not all are lethal, but some are most certainly. Either way, their stings hurt like heck. Imagine paddle boarding in the ocean, only to find one of these guys floating just beneath you. It's always good to check the water before you go paddle boarding. This massive jelly could have caused some serious harm if that person wouldn't have seen it and just kept on going in the water. Some species, like the box jellyfish, are known for their terrifying venom, which can cause extreme pain and even death in mere minutes. The tentacles of these jellyfish can extend for several feet, silently drifting through the water, making it nearly impossible to spot them until it's too late. And while you might think the clear blue waters would make it easy to see, these creatures often blend in perfectly, their translucent bodies disappearing into the water. The sight of a large jellyfish beneath you could instantly turn your leisurely paddle into a life-threatening situation. This is another reason so many people prefer swimming in fresh water, not the oceans. After all, it's home to some of the scariest, most ferocious creatures on the planet. You've all seen the movies or TV series highlighting the numerous amount of jellyfish that exist in the ocean, and you never want to find yourself stranded among that nightmare. You probably wouldn't make it out alive either. You would pass out from the pain of the stings or get tired of trying to find a way out. The result is the same. Number 14. The Ocean Atlas. He goes by many titles: artist, photographer, naturalist, diver, etc. But Jason DeCaires Taylor's legacy will be this. He recently introduced his record-breaking public sculpture to the crystal Bohemian waters in 2014 and has since entered the Artistic Hall of Fame, not officially. The project, titled Ocean Atlas, is an installation that encourages natural coral colonization and deters tourists from endangered reefs and their diving escapades. The statue itself was forged from sustainable, pH-neutral materials designed to kickstart local coral growth and not pollute the waters in the long run. Ocean Atlas is being hailed as a monumental public sculpture, and the whole thing can be found submerged about 10 feet beneath the surface of the sea. Its massive size makes it one of the most visually striking underwater works of art, with a human figure gently cradling the weight of the world on their shoulders. This symbolism reflects the delicate balance we hold over the ocean's future, calling attention to the importance of conservation. Over the years, the sculpture has become a thriving artificial reef, providing a new home for marine life. Schools of fish, crabs, and sea creatures have begun to make it their sanctuary, thriving amongst the folds of the stone figure. The installation has attracted not just diverse but marine biologists and environmentalists eager to see how the ecosystem adapts to this unique piece of art. The environmental gesture is intended to portray the positive potential of human interaction with the natural world, should it be considered in the original design. Ignoring nature and the implications our decisions hold on the future has got to end now, so the artist says. Number 13. Underwater Hotel. The aptly named underwater room is a buoy-like hotel room upon the surface of the crystalline waters off the coast of Tanzania. Each amazing corner is tethered to the ocean floor, so have no fear about it coasting out to sea in your dreamfaring journey. Guests are anchored in place, but when they descend, they can enjoy submarine views of the fascinating ocean life around them. The wooden structure is a natural beauty set atop serene turquoise ocean waters. Guests can swim to their heart's desire in the open ocean or sunbathe atop the building. The calm and inviting waters provide the perfect setting for kayaks, paddleboards, and snorkels, allowing guests to fully explore the tropical surroundings. From the deck, you can witness dolphins darting across the horizon, or the occasional sea turtle gliding by. Even the sunsets here seem to hold a special magic, as the sky and ocean blend into breathtaking hues of orange and pink. Stargazing is a particular pleasure. Many have mentioned the pristine views of the Milky Way are visible thanks to its physical isolation. The underwater room's real appeal lies underwater in the bedroom. Beneath the surface deck is a stunning bedroom containing one tiny little bed, but it still feels big as the ocean, with those views beyond the windows on all four sides. It is the blue world of the Indian Ocean. You might even get to see entire schools of fish swim past or other curious creatures that may want to take a look in and see what humans are up to. Number 12. Frying Pan Tower. This crazy couple decided they would try their luck in weathering massive Hurricane Matthew while atop an abandoned Coast Guard station some 30 miles off the coast of North Carolina. These people literally grabbed their deck chairs and posted up, ready to take on the storm. At one stage of their adventure, the eye of the hurricane passed directly over them, and for a short period, everything was calm. The hurricane-force winds caused massive waves to rise and smash against the rickety station. Talk about iron nerves to try this stunt out. The couple, however, wasn't entirely unprepared for the extreme conditions. They had spent years getting the station ready for events like these. The once dilapidated structure, full of rust and crumbling equipment, was rebuilt into a sturdy and durable home. With solar panels, a water filtration system, and emergency supplies, they had equipped the station to withstand the worst of the storm. As the winds howled and the waves surged, they stayed on the lookout, ready to react if things took a turn for the worse. As the storm's fury raged around them, the couple remained calm, enjoying the surreal experience of watching nature's power unfold right outside their window. The couple is actually the owner of the building that's been nicknamed Frying Pan Tower. The construction stands at about 100 feet above the water and can only be reached by helicopter or boat. While it offers incredible 360-degree views of the ocean, as well as sunsets and sunrises, you won't be swimming to land anytime soon. Heck, you can't even see any while there. The couple purchased the station from the government after the Coast Guard abandoned it in 2004. The station was rendered obsolete on account of advances in GPS and radar technology, which made the light station for ships navigating the shallow frying pan shoals needless for their direction. Now, the couple has transformed it into a vacation home, touting the mild weather and good fishing for the whole family. Number 11. Unidentified sea monster. Nothing like a good legendary lake monster to drive tourism. There are such creatures around the globe that have long drawn such attention, and one of them recently popped up in Ireland. The video displays a weird, massive creature tailing a small boat, making for a sort of scary situation for that person. The dinosaur-like creature is being compared to what Nessie is to Loch Ness, a yet-to-be-identified cryptid that allegedly dwells in a lake's unexplored and hidden depths and only surfaces often enough to keep the legend burning in humans' minds like a steady fire. Some theorists believe this could be more than just folklore. They argue it might be a surviving species of an ancient marine reptile, one that has managed to evade human eyes for centuries. The massive size of the creature caught on camera suggests something much older and more elusive than any common fish or animal. Others point to the presence of strange, deep underwater caves in the lake, claiming these could serve as a hidden lair for such creatures. The video footage itself is blurry and unclear, adding fuel to the argument that the creature might not be as mythical as previously believed. A local fisherman spoke about strange sightings near the lake for years, although no clear proof had ever been recorded before now. Turns out there are a lot more mysterious lake creatures like this than humans could have imagined. Perhaps these legendary creatures do exist, and they're beginning to awaken amidst the worldly changes. Could they possibly be the mythical ancient guardian dragons of old? It's also possible someone just saw a marketing opportunity. The legend had to have started from somewhere, and there always seems to be a crumb of authenticity about these stories every once in a while. Perhaps these lakes are only gateways to another aquatic world, but also its guardians. Only time will tell. Or not. Now it's time for today's topic. A group of Mexican fishermen recently experienced a chilling encounter while fishing off the coast of Baja California. What started as an ordinary day at sea quickly turned into something out of a nightmare when they noticed an enormous dorsal fin slicing through the water, larger than anything they had ever seen. The creature never fully surfaced, but the dark shadow it cast beneath their boat was enough to leave them in shock. Judging by the outline, the shark was bigger than their entire vessel, moving silently beneath the waves as if watching them. At first, they thought it might be a great white, but the sheer size and the unusual shape of its fin ruled out any known species. Panicked, they abandoned their fishing spot, fearing what lurked below. Was this a new, undiscovered predator? A surviving prehistoric species? Or something else entirely? Locals now fear venturing into those waters, with rumors swirling that something massive roams the depths of the Gulf of California. For now, the identity of this shadowy beast remains unknown. But one thing is certain, something terrifying is lurking just beneath the surface. Number 10. Alien creature. Just what the heck is the creature that turned up attacking in Ontario? This footage shows a giant circle of a beast in the water, but no clear indication of what it actually is. Every once in a while, a tentacle-like protrusion can be seen above the surface of the water, but it quickly submerges back in. In this moment, it appears as a stingray tail, but the rest of the body remains invisible. The observer gets a good look with the camera as the creature encroaches, and still, it's difficult to make out the details. The movements of the creature seem almost deliberate, as if it's aware of its audience, adding an unnerving layer to the mystery. Some theorize that it could be an unknown species, a creature never before seen in these waters, possibly hiding in plain sight for generations. Others, however, suggest it might be a cryptid, something right out of folklore, only now making itself known to the modern world. With each movement, the thing seems to grow in size, almost as though it's expanding with the ebbing tide. The people in the video mentioned how different it looks from all the other rocks around the area and the fact that it seems to be breathing. There appear to be holes in it, and from them are bubbles one might expect from an exhalation of some sort. Could be a very large jellyfish, like some of those that can be found off the coast of Japan. In a place like Ontario, a jellyfish this big has never been observed, so no matter, it was one heck of a find. Number 9. Stuck at sea. Hugo has sailed the world, from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean. His most recent journey saw him crossing the Atlantic with his father. The series, titled The Sailing Frenchman, posted on his official YouTube channel, has gained steam and popularity, with it currently sitting pretty with 15,000 subscribers. One of his journeys saw him cross a huge expanse to test his new restoration project. What he didn't expect was Mother Nature to make everything so difficult. It wasn't a storm or overwhelming weather conditions, more like underwhelming. The two primary sources of motion for boats are from an engine of some kind or wind. With the motor broken and zero wind to push the sail, this Frenchman sailor was left stranded in the middle of the ocean for quite some time. With the sun beating down and nothing but endless waves around him, the isolation began to feel palpable. He had no other choice but to rely on his sailing skills to survive, carefully rationing his food and water while hoping for a break in the weather. Days stretched into weeks, and while he had ample experience, even seasoned sailors can begin to question their own resolve under such extreme circumstances. Hugo documented every moment, sharing with his viewers the psychological and physical challenges of being stuck out there, hoping to capture the raw emotions that come with it. That could be a scary thing for most people, but for someone who grew up sailing, being stranded is almost part of the adventure. Of course, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you can tell in this poise that he had been in the situation before, perhaps many times. Number 8. Living on a cargo ship. There are plenty of crazy places to live, but a cargo ship is right up there on the top of the list. Imagine having to deal with the sea conditions every single day you wake up. Most people would topple over and wash over the side with a huge swell day, but these people have somehow mastered the form. They fish for food, sleep wherever they choose, and all around have made a home for themselves. These people just call these storms life at sea. Navigating the wild waves and unpredictable weather conditions becomes second nature to them as they learn to trust the rhythms of the ocean. They know when a storm is approaching before it even hits, understanding subtle changes in wind and waves. The cargo ship becomes their world, with every creak and groan of the ship serving as a reminder of the power of the sea. They've also found clever ways to store supplies, turning old containers into makeshift kitchens, lounges, and sleeping quarters, often with no electricity but relying on solar panels or manual labor to stay off the grid. Despite the isolation, it's a strangely peaceful existence for some, living by the ebb and flow of nature. The sea gives them freedom, but it's not without its risks. Pirates are a constant threat, and the lack of a crew means they have no backup when things go wrong. With no crew, their options would be limited in such an instant. Number 7. Sea monster chases boat. If you're a fisherman as a profession, then you likely have seen it all when it comes to the normal season oddities of the ocean. There's a reason people were quick to dismiss fishermen's tales, but the way the ocean has been behaving as of late has people rethinking its mythical connotation. Instead, maybe these professional ocean fare have seen much more than anyone can imagine. Thanks to smart technology and cameras small enough to fit in your pocket, many of those tales are coming to light, and even more joining the shroud of mystery. Take this bizarre creature, for instance, that this fisherman managed to record in his fleeing attempt. The creature seemed to glide just beneath the water's surface, its dark shadow growing larger as it rapidly closed the distance. At first, they thought it might have been a school of fish or a large sea mammal, but the sudden bursts of movement and the unmistakable shape threw those ideas out the window. The fishermen described hearing strange splashing noises, unlike anything they had encountered before. Then, one of them caught a glimpse of what they believed to be massive, undulating limbs, resembling tentacles or perhaps something more alien. It was moving with speed and precision, and there was no time to waste. The vessel's engine roared to life as they sped away, desperate to escape whatever it was that pursued them. The crew could only watch in stunned silence as the creature shadowed their every move, staying right beneath them like a predator on the hunt. If these guys don't know what the heck is chasing them in the water, your guess as to what spooked them is as good as theirs. All we know is it spooked them enough to flee from the scene. Whatever it was, the workers had no intention of being a part of it. That's for sure. What would you do in a scenario of being chased by an unknown creature? Number 6. Spawn of Godzilla. A bizarre creature has turned up in Sagami Bay, and has theorists worried that Godzilla Jr. is on the rise. In that case, Godzilla would have had to exist, so this would actually be better titled The Authentic Godzilla. Either way, this insane creature has people turning heads from coast to coast. One person just said it's a rock clearing up with the passing water. Another said it's a giant fish. Either way, none of it can be confirmed, and even if it was a giant fish, it still is terrifying enough to haunt your sleep tonight. Heck, even if it was a rock, it's enough to give you nightmares. After all, whenever objects are placed in a manner that can be seen as a face, the human brain is happy to do so. Is this yet another one of those bizarre instances? Its stillness and massive size are all the more reason to be terrified of whatever exists down in the deep. The creature's shape seemed almost unnatural, and despite being seen only briefly, it left an indelible impression on those who witnessed it. The waters around it seemed to shift unnaturally, and some claimed to feel a strange unease, as if something was watching them from the depths. Whispers began circulating that the creature might not be a single being, but a collective of smaller creatures somehow linked together, making it even more frightening. Some have even speculated that it could be an undiscovered prehistoric creature, long thought to be extinct, suddenly reappearing in modern times. But whatever it was, the creature's immense size was not something the human eye could easily process, and it seemed to vanish as quickly as it appeared, leaving more questions than answers. Perhaps monsters like these have started to awaken, shifting the entire ocean of life and giving rise to the many changes in species being witnessed around the globe. Only time will tell. Yet again, you should be seeing how valuable time is by now. Animals that live in the ocean are some of the strangest creatures that exist on the planet. It's no wonder they inspire such imaginations to create monsters of untold terror. While there are certainly thousands of discovered creatures living in it, there are 10 times, if not 100 times as many, that still remain a mystery and are shrouded in the scale of the ocean. Number 5. Teenager lost at sea. Getting lost at sea once is a crazy experience. Getting lost 3 times and only when you're a teenager is something entirely different. It doesn't appear that luck is on your side. His latest torment was by far the longest and has catapulted him and his events to global attention. This time around, he was working on a floating fishing trap, known locally as a rompong, which can be described as a hut-shaped boat that floats in the middle of the sea but is anchored to the seabed. The point is to catch massive amounts of fish and even live on the water for some time. As you can see, there isn't a rule book on safety practices and what they should or shouldn't be doing. This is for survival, not some company worried about workplace mishaps. The water could turn in an instant, and with no real shelter or support, it's a constant battle against the elements. He'd been working long hours in sweltering heat, hauling in nets and making sure the fish traps were functioning properly. In the solitude of the sea, time felt as if it slowed, and the horizon became an endless stretch of nothingness. Without a working radio or a way to call for help, his situation was rapidly becoming dire. Waves crashed against the fragile trap, sending vibrations through the wood and making it feel as though it might disintegrate at any moment. The isolation was so complete that even the distant sounds of a storm had started to fade into eerie silence. The sense of being completely alone with no way to change his fate was overwhelming. In July, he was stationed some 77 miles off Indonesia's Sulawesi Island when the rope that was keeping him in place snapped, sending him adrift. The problem was that he was asleep while it happened. So, when he eventually awoke, he had already coasted miles away from the original location. Number 4. Homes fall into ocean. The global landscape is changing, and the homes that rest closest to the ocean are the main victims and evidence of this occurrence. There's no stopping the ocean from coming back and claiming what was its all along. The world was once submerged, after all. As the earth underneath them collapsed, 8 buildings in a caravan were dragged from their very foundations into the sea, and you can see just how easy it was for Mother Nature to accomplish it. The ground had been eroding for years, and the heavy rains from a recent storm only sped up the process. The water surged, swallowing everything in its path, as the waves began to crash against the foundations with terrifying force. Some buildings that were once part of a cozy neighborhood were now mere wreckage, floating away like forgotten debris. It wasn't the first time the residents had experienced erosion, but this event was far more catastrophic than any of the others. The homes were built with little regard for the shifting coastline, and many locals were unaware of the rising danger that had been brewing beneath the surface. For years, environmental experts had warned about the risks of climate change and rising sea levels, but nothing could truly prepare them for the full force of what happened. The survivors watched in disbelief, helpless to stop the destruction, as the sea claimed what was once theirs. Luckily, no one was injured or reported missing. The string of buildings was used mostly as holiday homes and Airbnb types. It was off-season, and they were all vacant at the time. The one casualty was a dog that was stuck on an isolated piece of land, which had to be rescued by helicopter. Yes, people expend resources to save animals so long as they're labeled as someone's pet. One homeowner was lucky enough to see what was happening before it happened. She said she looked out the window and saw the power line smoking and the rain whipping. She ran up the hillside where she watched the whole thing unfold with her own eyes. Unfortunately, for many people who live on that coast, this is likely an event that isn't too far down the road from reality. The ocean is warming, the icebergs are melting, and the volume is increasing. This combination means there's nowhere else for the water to go. Sooner or later, the water will start to reclaim the land that it once lost millions of years ago. Number 3. Giant squid. Have the giant squid surfaced to say hello? They're an extremely rare creature, especially one that size. The stunning and rare footage was obtained by researchers on site in the Gulf of Mexico. They filmed the giant squid in the deep sea as part of an expedition to document elusive marine animals. Never could they have imagined the find they would turn up that day. The waters in this region are known for their mysterious depths, with many creatures rarely seen by human eyes. As the camera zoomed in, the massive squid's tentacles were spotted writhing, almost as if it was aware of the presence of the researchers. The team watched in awe as the creature moved with a speed and grace that defied its enormous size. The squid's body shimmered with bioluminescent light, making it even more eerie and beautiful in the pitch-black surroundings. The video was taken 100 miles southeast of New Orleans and manages to display what experts say is a single tentacle. Out of nowhere, the tentacle stunningly expands and is revealed to be the lower half of the deep-sea creature, shocking both the scientists recording and the people watching it later. It makes itself known for a quick moment and then descends into the darkness for another unknown number of years. Seriously, who knows when something like this will ever happen again? While the squid has long been a human mythical nemesis, today it's thought of as more of an inquisitive, intelligent creature trying to test the shallower waters for something better. Number 2. Spaghetti monster. Is this an animal or an overturned bowl of spaghetti? Honestly, it could go both ways. While it certainly has the whole noodle aesthetic down, experts say it is indeed a creature. It's aptly been named the floating spaghetti monster for this reason. These strange creatures like to cruise along the ocean's bottom, with spaghetti-like tendrils dragging in the sand, looking for crustaceans and other prey hiding within. They are known to be incredibly elusive and difficult to study, with their long, thin appendages swaying in the current as if they're searching for something. The tendrils are equipped with specialized cells that sting and paralyze their prey, allowing the siphonophore to feed without exerting much effort. Despite their seemingly delicate appearance, they're incredibly resilient, able to survive in harsh underwater environments with extreme pressures and cold temperatures. Some species of siphonophore have been known to grow over 40 meters long, making them one of the longest creatures in the ocean. It's basically living underwater as a vacuum. Workers on the BP oil rig captured footage of this strange-looking animal while collecting video evidence some 4,000 feet beneath the surface. The oil rig, with deep-sea cameras that captured the footage, called it the name first, and when the footage was submitted for research, the name stuck. Experts working at the National Oceanography Center identified the creature as what is known as a siphonophore, a closely related creature to jellyfish and coral. They're colonial animals, and typically when one is found, a million others can be as well. The fact this one was living in such isolation is yet another mystery. Number 1. Toxic sludge. One of the most infamous harmful algae blooms has recently struck Florida. Dubbed red tide, it's caused by a dangerous version of algae that produces potent neurotoxin. Not even humans are safe from this disaster. The toxins are potent and can be suspended in the air near shores and cause human respiratory illness without people even knowing. Can also gather in shellfish and cause what's known as neurotoxic shellfish poisoning. The toxins affect not only humans but also a wide range of marine life, causing fish kills and other harmful effects on the ecosystem. This in turn disrupts local fishing industries, as the contaminated shellfish and fish become unsafe for consumption. The effects of these algae blooms stretch beyond the immediate impact on wildlife. Tourism in affected areas suffers as people avoid the beaches and coastal activities. Local economies that rely heavily on tourism and seafood industries face severe financial setbacks. Furthermore, the blooms also release a foul odor that makes the environment unpleasant for residents and visitors alike. Affected areas around the globe do their best to monitor the shellfish and may be forced to close harvesting for a period of time in the name of public health. Blooms are so numerous and dangerous that they also discolor the water and cause widespread mortality of the local sea life. While these events are more frequent in coastal regions of southwest Florida, they occur to a lesser extent throughout the Gulf region and have been increasing in frequency in recent years. With advancing technology, scientists are bound to reveal even more surprising discoveries. One thing's for sure, stay alert and keep an eye on our ever-changing planet. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to receive all our latest content straight to your inbox.